You're probably wondering, how is everyone good at math? Now, for me, when I normally tell people, oh, I'm a math major, I love mathematics, people look at me like I've grown 2 extra heads that started doing a tap dance number on my shoulders. And for most people, once they recover from the stun, it's, oh, good for you. I was never good at math, which never truly made sense to me because math, after all, is all around us. There's been countless things gone into that. And as well, it's just who we are, processing, thinking, problem solving. And what I've found, or as in my 10 years of being a student and talking to my friends, is that most people don't believe that they're good. Not that they aren't, but that they don't think they are. So, to kind of ease us back into the world of math for some of us who probably have not touched it with a 30-foot pole in 30 years, how about a couple problems? And don't worry, I'll help us walk through them. 2 factorial plus 4 squared over 2 to the power of 3. Again, might be going, what in the world is this? I have never seen this before, and if you have, I am sorry. But truthfully, again, these are just simplifications of more simple things. And once you know them, and once you worked with them, it then becomes more simple. For example, once that weird explanation point that should still exist in an English course and not in a math class just is a factorial, which means we start with that number, and then we multiply every whole number under that initial one until we get to 1, as depicted here. And then for a square and cube, for exponents, that little number that is the subscript means that we're timesing the base number by itself that many times. So for the square, times it by 2. For the cube, times the initial number by itself 3 times. Again, we can rewrite this problem as 2 times 1 plus 4 times 4 over 2 times 2 times 2, which again, if we simplify it, becomes 2 plus 16 over 8, or 2 plus 2. And I would hope everyone watching, everyone in the world would know 2 plus 2 equals what? 4. And again, I don't know where you started to comprehend what in the world was going on, but at a certain point, you found the answer. Now, usually, it's not that simple. Usually people don't think of it as, oh, this is just a fine and dandy thing that I can do like the backside of my hand, as most mathematicians for this can. Why? Well, practice. As I've gone through school, as I've gone through learning, more and more I have figured out the grand complexities and simplifications that build math. I have understood what things mean and why. But why haven't normal people? Why haven't other people? Sadly, it's the way that a lot of people were taught math. Many people saw it instead of, hey, this is this is something you can do, this is something you should do, this is something I want you to do. I want you to get an answer. I want you to get an answer now, fast, quick. First person to get it is the first person that is right, and we're moving on once about half the class has gotten the answer. And that is horrendous. We have gone to using calculators in class so much in middle school and high school courses that they don't even know how to get to the work, which at a certain point is great, but you need to understand the rules and understand the process for you to then be able to use the shortcuts and break them. Many people then, after being persuaded otherwise, or not being encouraged, or feeling like they're a robot for just doing countless amount of worksheets instead of actually being engaged in the classroom, think they're not good at math. And once we get further into the more complex courses in high school and college and beyond, where it's more engaging, where it's more further enveloped into how they can think, we find, or I've found at least, that they haven't practiced enough, they haven't done stuff enough times in the past to then be able to feel comfortable, feel good to continue to do it. Or they just have a bad taste in their mouth in general and just don't want to touch it with a 30-foot pole. And that doesn't mean it's right for what people have done, but this is still a very big problem that I have faced in talking about mathematics and what my professors have as well, of there's so much of a mindset around math. When in reality, it is all around us in everything that we do. When we breathe, when we walk, when we eat, when we think, when we plan. Math is incorporated in all that we do. Don't believe me? Let's look at the simple action that most of us do every day. Driving a car, going down the street, trying to figure out, okay, how do I steer to make sure I don't go off the road, veer into someone else? That then looks like this. And yes, these are hand-drawn and wonderfully depicted. There's a reason I'm a math student, not an art major. How is that thing formed? No clue. That's just still what we do. You're also doing this as you're going side to side, as you're going forward, dealing with inclines, declines, and forget it if you're trying to change lanes. Because then you're having to as well do it for the car, to about 3 to 5 cars around you, as well as yourself, and identify the initial starting distance of the car you're dealing with, which would be your car minus the length of your car minus the distance in between you two, to then find the initial position of that car. Understand their velocity, which is one of their positions minus another one of their positions over the overall time it took for them to travel that. Same thing for acceleration, but instead of position, we use velocity. And again, the question marks are valid because what in the world is all this? Because again, in calculations, when we're writing this in class, you're having to compoundly understand all of this. And we're still not done. You have to plot that to understand the position of that car by stringing that all together. And yes, again, what? Because you're not doing that for that one car. You are then doing that for all the cars, your car, understanding how you're able to compoundly move in, and then what acceleration, speed, and how long it's going to take you to turn the wheel to go into that. This is hours or days of complex calculations to understand this with just given values. And we still haven't gone into the effects of gravity, friction, wind resistance. And instead of this monstrosity, we are able to go, I think I have enough time. Shh. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We just took this times about 5 times the work, and then did it in 2 seconds. 2 to 10 seconds is probably the average for how long it takes someone to change lanes. We just took roughly an hour, or 10 minutes to an hour of calculations and compressed it into 10 seconds. And that's why I cannot believe people say they're bad at math. Because sure, you might not be able to do the things in the classroom, but you are doing much more hard stuff without even realizing it. And how? Well, we're understanding, since we're born, that's when we start practicing. That's when we start doing the problems. That's when we start doing the practice problems of trying to discern where our position is. How fast are we going? Can I catch myself when I walk? It takes humans about a year to be able to walk, and then about another 2 years to be able to consistently do it and move on their own, and then about another 5 years to get the fine motor movements and coordination under control. And then still today, I'm 18 and I'm still just trying to stumble around and not run into someone through the halls. But that we have practiced certain amounts of this every day. Most of us have driven for a couple years, if not most of our life. And we have gotten it to such a proficient action of just looking over the shoulder, understanding all those calculations, condensing them in a moment, and then going, here's my answer. I would highly encourage you to read Francis Su's Math for Human Flourishing, a wonderful book that dives into in further detail of this. Beautiful, wonderful examples. Please look into it, because truthfully, there's so much more in our world that is mathematical that we don't even realize. It's fun, but not for everyone. What I am saying is that, or what I want to encourage, is that we have to put in effort to anything to get a result. Put in effort to try and do something and get better at it, to do it. And it won't end in failure. And there might be struggle. There might be hard times. You might make mistakes. Goodness gracious. There are so many stories of me just forgetting to subtract instead of add, or I spent about half an hour more on a test because I forgot there was a +1. Am I bad at math? No. Am I bad at seeing? Maybe. But I just made a mistake. And that's fine. We learn from our mistakes. I live in mistakes. Mathematicians and people, as humans, we live and learn from the errors that we make. And we continue. And we grow and we progress and we progress. And we get better. As all that I've been saying is truthfully, if you want to get better at something, put in the effort, put in the time. If you want to get better at math, you need to put in effort and time. But you're already good at it. You might not be good at the educational sense of all the arithmetic can bog down in that aspect. But you might just need a bit of time to find the subtle nuances in that system and relate it to what you already know, because you do know it. You can do it. I have seen so many people do so much more complex things in their life than finding a derivative or what's the square root of this with ease and grace and beauty that I envy. And at a certain point, I have to realize they have dedicated their life to this. They have become proficient. And they have done this every day. And if I want to get better at that, then I need to approach it with open arms, approach the struggle, approach the adversity of that situation, and say, I want to try. I want to do this. I want to get better, and I will get better. That's all it takes. And again, don't have to, don't need to. But you are amazing at so many things. We as humans have created cities, civilizations, culture, art, science, history, worlds. in such a short time. It has taken the universe eons to do this. And we have done it in a couple millennia. So pardon me when I snicker a bit when people say they're bad at math. Because I'm just, in the back of my head, I'm going, maybe. What if you tried? What if you went forward? Who knows? But to wrap this up, how about a pop quiz? And don't worry, it won't be too bad, but answer the question, how are you good at anything you want to be? And obviously, I have my preference for this topic, and I'll help you a bit. Answer, like we said, practice. Put in the effort. Don't turn away from the struggle, because that is what makes us, that's what molds us into being better. But like any good math course, make sure you show your work. And I will be looking and waiting and hoping to see the wondrous things that come out of this.